Hey, deserving listeners, this is a best of video in which I took all the different videos that I made about Ed and Rose reacting to the show live and edited them down by topic and also shortened them quite a bit. This video is about age difference. A lot of you have emailed me asking me for clarification on age difference. I actually did a whole episode about age difference in relationships. I went into all the research and I talk about that a little bit in this clip. So let's get to the show.
I didn't listen to you. I didn't really understand why you're so upset.
I was upset that you're old enough to be her dad, and I was just like, what are you doing? 23? I'm 29. What do you have in common with her?
I looked into the empirical evidence on this and all the scientific literature, and there are some nuances there, but in general, age differences like that are not by any means inherently a dysfunctional thing. Often in our society, we pathologize things like that. A 48-year-old dating a 24-year-old, you're twice her age. That's crazy. What is crazy about it? Well, it's just wrong. Okay, tell me more. Well, you're at different points in life. You're at different stages of life. Okay, but lots of people are at different. You can have two 30-year-olds who are at completely different stages of their life. One could still be living at home with their parents, and the other could have 3 kids. Does that mean they can't get together? It's inherently dysfunctional? Well, there's a power differential. Okay, we could look at that. If there is a power differential there that someone's being exploited, let's look at that. We all, for good reasons, worry about younger people being exploited by older people. We see this in 13-year-olds being exploited by 40-year-olds. Those situations we have determined, I think rightfully so, as universally pathological and a problem and illegal. So there are certain things that we see that are like, oh, age difference, that's bad. 2 13-year-olds together, yeah, that's fine. 2 13-year-olds that are dating, that's fine. But is it? Can two 13-year-olds engage in a controlling, abusive, exploitative relationship? Absolutely. Can a 24-year-old exploit a 48-year-old? Absolutely. Can a 24-year-old emotionally, physically, sexually abuse a 48-year-old? Absolutely. Can a woman physically and sexually abuse a man? Absolutely. We have to look at these kind of situations case-by-case basis. Just the fact that someone is different in age doesn't automatically mean that there's something wrong with it. I'm not trying to advocate for big age differences in relationships. I'm just trying to advocate for scientifically sound ways of looking at these sorts of things.
For love, which I understand at the end of the day, I want to see my dad happy. I want to see him with somebody and not alone. But I can't support it. There's such a huge age gap there that they don't have very much in common.
So there it is again. And I know that most of you will disagree with me on this, culturally speaking, but empirically speaking, there's no harm with a big age difference in 2 adults being in a relationship together. Now, a 13-year-old with a 40-year-old, that is inevitably, undoubtedly high control and exploitative. 13 is not old. It's not like age gaps aren't something to look at. But you can exploit someone that's older. You can exploit someone that's the same age. Does an age difference raise the greater possibility of exploitation? Yes. Also, coming from another country, the younger person coming from another country to your country, exploitation is a bigger risk. But is it automatic? No. Can a small 25-year-old woman exploit a 50-year-old man who's very rich? Yes. Exploitation, manipulation, coercion, high control can go in various different directions. Focusing on age as a automatic slam dunk factor that will automatically mean that something is wrong is empirically wrong. I did a whole episode on age difference in relationships, but it's wrong, right? But a 52-year-old with a 24-year-old, that's just wrong. It's wrong. So let's analyze other wrongs in the world. It's wrong for a cigarette company to claim that their cigarettes don't provide a risk factor for cancer, right? If Camel cigarettes said Cigarettes don't cause cancer. They're not related to cancer at all. That claim is wrong. How do we know that's wrong? Research, empirical science. We observe when people smoke, their risk of lung cancer goes way up. When people don't smoke, their risk of lung cancer is down here. That's data. So when you look at relationships that have large age gaps, what do we see? We don't see the sorts of things that people will accuse them of, because the kinds of things we're worried about with age gaps are present in a lot of types of relationships. High control exploitation happens in a lot of age configurations, a lot of relationship configurations. Now, some of you might say what Tiffany said, which is they're at different points in their lives. How can they relate? Well, how do you know? I mean, there's plenty of things that people can't relate. A heterosexual relationship has inherently things you can't relate to. Men do not understand the sexism that women go through in the world. There is a fundamental misunderstanding there. And yet, heterosexual couples work out well all the time. Not understanding each other or being at different points in one's life isn't necessarily a deal breaker to a relationship. Now, for this couple, it kind of was, mainly because Ed was lying by omission, because he was saying, I'm beyond my childbearing years, and she wanted more children. So that age gap did play a role. But that wasn't because of the age gap. That was because Ed was lying by omission. All right, if you haven't subscribed below, that would be cool. And if you hit the bell, then you get notified when we put up new episodes. Also, if you could like the videos, if you like them. If you don't like them, then you can downvote them. Or if you're neutral, just don't say anything at all, I suppose. Also, this is the last best of video for Ed and Rose. In the future, I'll be posting best of videos for various other couples that I'm doing. Let me know in the comments below which couples you'd like me to do, which best ofs you'd like me to do. And everyone out there, it's been quite a journey watching Ed and Rose. And it's been interesting to have it condensed down. I reacted to the show as it was happening and then posted those episodes as the show was happening. But it was, pretty educational for me to watch hours and hours, condense it down by topic, and really see the progression through the season. And I think there's a clear through line, particularly for Ed, in terms of he went from being in love and very optimistic to being jealous and starting to get worried about Facebook friends and about her past relationships, STIs. Then we start seeing some of the other behaviors like the leg hair and the worries about mouthwash. And then we see the sister kind of worries. And then we see the kid situation. And then we see the breakup. And then we see the after breakup. And then we see that. It's interesting to review it very quickly, because I think it's much easier to see a pattern when you see it very quickly like that. I don't know. It seems interesting to me anyway, and I hope it's interesting to you. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.